Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network.
Did you know there are ancients among us right here in Nanaimo?
On today's show, making pottery bowls, a 16-year-old band leader, and vintage cars and their owners. All that and more in the next 30 minutes.
You're watching Go Island. Today we are on location at the Nanaimo Art Gallery downtown, finding out about ancients among us. In the meantime, Kelly Robinson had a chance to visit with a Nanaimo artist, Linda DeBeeld, who is making meditation bowls. If you would like to meet Nanaimo artist Brenda, you can. She will be at the Nautical Days in Comox on August 4th, 5th, and 6th at Marina Park. You can actually see her working on her meditation bowls and maybe even pick one up. We are on location for Go Island today at the Nanaimo Art Gallery downtown, speaking with Toby Lawrence, who is the gallery coordinator here downtown. There's a very significant display that's taking place now through until September. It's all about the ancients among us. Tell us about this, Toby.
So The Ancients Among Us, The Art and Science of Sturgeon is an exhibition that we've co-presented with Nanaimo Museum, the Center for Sturgeon Studies at Vancouver Island University, and Nanaimo Art Gallery. So this exhibition gives people a chance to explore sturgeon and issues related to sturgeon in a new and exciting way.
And that's kind of what's interesting about this, to say, okay, the Sturgeon Center up at the university is fascinating, and they've made some very, very valuable discoveries and research, but bringing that to everyday people so they can understand it, that's why I think this is something that everyone should come down and take a look at. So tell me what they can find down here.
Well, down here we have a wide selection of artworks in different media and also attending to different kinds of issues. So behind us here we have Esther Burkhart's photography, and she's made her works out of models made out of marzipan and then made photographs. So she's looking at issues related to habitat. We also have artists who are looking at storytelling, looking at mythology of sturgeon, and then also looking at things such as the trophy photo and what does that mean to us and what does that mean to the fish. So
the trophy photo, that sounds interesting. I know that there's a really, really big sport fishery in the Fraser River for sturgeon, and it's nice that they catch and release, but that's not the case before, and also they are an important food for a lot of countries too.
They are, yes, yeah. So it seems like there's been a lot of work done to bring sturgeon studies to the forefront, and also to make sure that sturgeon are harvested properly, which also means putting impositions on catching fish.
Who came up with the idea of having, putting research together with having an art project, so to speak?
Well, there's actually a history with the Nanaimo Art Gallery and the Sturgeon Studies Center for this type of project. In 2011, we hosted another show in conjunction with the same conference, and so that was a show that was put together by Nanaimo Art Gallery and brought together a number of artists to look at the similar issues and with different artworks.
Okay, just a few details then, Toby, about how long this display will be here at this gallery downtown.
This display is actually on only until this coming Sunday, so August 4th is the last day. It's been up since the beginning of July.
Is there still something up at the university itself, or?
There's actually a sister show at the Nanaimo Museum down the street that deals with the sturgeon as well.
All right, then thank you very much, Toby, for telling us all about the display here, and correct me on how long it's here as well. So if you want to catch it, get down here now, because it's over after this weekend. But you can still find out more about other sturgeon things at the museum. So going on to other topics for today's Go Island, Jocelyn Matt, we had a chance to sit down with a 16-year-old band leader who has a 7-piece 20-style swing band.
Still ahead today on Go Island, from comics to the big screen and classic cars. Still to come today on Go Island.
You're watching Go Island, and I'm on location at the Nanaimo Art Gallery, the downtown location of the Nanaimo Art Gallery. They've had a display for the last couple of weeks called Ancients Among Us. It's all about sturgeon. We have the chance now to speak with Robert Plant, who is one of the artists who has his work on display here. Thank you for joining us today, Robert. Pleasure to meet you. First time that I've met you. I know you've met some other people before. You have some very beautiful piece of work here on display about sturgeon, and I'm curious, why would you choose to paint sturgeon?
Well, that was I could say an application. Eh? So now it's, I spoke actually last year, I spoke with Mr. Nielsen from the VIU for a few hours. And one of the things I came up with was that I thought it was important to combine the initiatives of departments from the VIU with the art community here in Nanaimo. So when I was reading about the search for artists, yeah, I couldn't say no, of course. I mean, here I am, big mouth, eh? So you have to do it. So, but I'm an artist, so I paint every day, draw every day, think drawing, think painting. So I breathe. Maybe you smell paint now, so that's why.
I've talked to other artists as well, and I've dabbled a bit myself, and I've done some trout paintings for some people who are trout fans and that, and they're beautiful fish, rainbow, lots of colors, and then people do some salmon and things like that. There's some, the West Coast, you expect those things anyway, but some people would look at a sturgeon and go, oh, that is just a really weird looking fish, but some people, they're beauty.
They're layered in their attitude, like salmon are layered. I mean, when you know how a coho behaves comparing to a spring, that's already different. Well, sturgeons are way beyond that. I mean, they're so mysterious, and they live in deep rivers. And I'm always fascinated by animals who live in the deep. I'm afraid of the deep, I can't swim in deep water, so maybe that's why. But like the big krakens, the big inked fish. And it's the same with the sturgeon. I mean, it's a very mysterious animal, and therefore it's colorful in a metaphorical way. So.
Were you able to go up to the university and see the sturgeons there firsthand to sort of get an idea for how you were going to come up with your concept for your drawing, your painting?
No, I'm a fisherman originally, so I always fished on carp in Holland. And so I was invited during the exhibition opening day. But I went to the Bonneville Dam several times near Portland, Oregon, and I saw some sturgeons which had the size of a car. And they moved so slowly, and so I was always fascinated by them, but not more particular than some other fish. But especially these fish are so old, eh? They're like dinosaurs. So you can, I think, and their shape is awesome. It's like a shark. There's nothing more beautiful than a shark. Well, this comes pretty close. They're long. They've got a big tail fin, so they're really, and they've got the armor. That's the most fascinating. They look like rhinoceroses. They are stubborn, massive animals.
They almost look like dinosaurs. You're right about that.
Yeah.
My first encounter with a sturgeon, I think, was about 5 years old, and the same thing. It was probably
Caught you by the lake?
No, it was in the back of a cart. It had just been caught, of course, and it was probably about 9-10 feet long, and all I remember was that it was big and smelly.
Yeah.
Now I look at them differently. Seeing them swimming around up at the university has been fascinating. So how many pieces did you have on here?
Oh, yeah, I have only one.
The one there.
Only one, yeah. I think that's, all artists have only one. And I think that's nice because you have a variety of taste here now. And I think that's pretty cool.
What are you going to do with it after this is over?
There's always somebody interested in it. Always, because it's a specific subject. So I think when it's not sold during this, because it's not very cheap, then I will approach people who offer their interest, so maybe they're interested, and otherwise I keep it myself. I mean, what's wrong with a good painting? You paint it yourself, eh? So
it's beautiful, definitely.
Thank you.
Nice size too, nice colors. Thank you very much for talking with us about
your
exhibit here. It's nice to meet you. And we'll talk more about what's at the gallery a little bit later on today's Go Island. But coming up now, it's not exactly a painting like this, but Derek Johnstone had a chance to meet with a comic book creator in Ladysmith who was taking his creations from the page and putting them on the big screen. You're watching Go Island, and we're down at the Nanaimo Art Gallery where there's been a display about Ancients Among Us sturgeon. It's going to be wrapping up in a couple of days, but I'm joined now by Julie Bevan, who is the Executive Artistic Director for the Nanaimo Art Gallery. Thank you for joining us, Julie. And going to find out about, they have some important, exciting news about the art gallery itself that she's going to tell us about.
We do. We're happy to announce that there's been an exciting change in board leadership, and Deborah Zorkin, who has served as a board member here since 2010, has been elected as president of the board of directors, which is really exciting as our organization moves forward with its plan for facility development. Outgoing president is Ian Nymeth, who's been involved with the gallery for many years, and many years in the capacity of president. And the good news is that he'll remain involved with the board in the position of past president to continue the work that he's been doing. And both Ian and Deborah have been involved in the community in lots of different capacities as volunteers for Nanaimo Art Gallery, but lots of other community organizations.
She's done a lot for downtown Nanaimo, especially from what I read, being involved with different committees for, business improvement, just getting people down here and having people realize that downtown Nanaimo is really important. So I'm sure she's going to bring a lot to the position of president this time around with the Nanaimo Art Gallery. Now, I did mention that the Ancients Among Us display is wrapping up, so I've asked Julie to sort of fill us in on what we can expect next over the next couple of weeks. So what's coming up for us?
Coming up, opening on August 8th, we have work by an artist called Christopher Lindsay. He's from Victoria. He's coming to create an installation. It's a show called Another Good Question, and it's curated by Toby Lawrence, our downtown gallery coordinator. And Christopher is building colored thread and wood installation in the space of the gallery. So it'll be quite a different use of space. He'll be coming up and staying at the Coast Bastion for 2 days next week to create this installation in the gallery space.
So it's almost like an interactive art kind of thing that's taking place, people can watch him building it kind of thing?
The gallery will be closed during the process of installation, just because we'll have ladders and tools, and we want to make sure that people are safe, but we'll be open on the 8th, and I think people will really respond to it and find it interesting to see experience an artwork like that in this location, because there won't be anything on the walls. It'll be using the ceiling and some of the other structures here.
Spatial. You've got me very curious.
Good.
So I'm definitely going to have to come down here. All right, thanks very much, Julie Bevan from the Nanaimo Art Gallery, talking about upcoming displays. And still to come, talking about really cool things. Rand LaPlante has another edition of Calendar Cars, and she checks out a 66 Acadian. Thanks for watching Go Island. Be sure to come back again tomorrow night.
Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network. Clothing supplied by Catwalk Fashions. Kate's Hair and Aesthetics provided by Maffeo Salon.